Happy Magical Monday. It is one of the very first, it's one of the very first Mondays of this year. It's the second Monday of 2023. And I'm hearing a lot of the same things for so many people right now. So just let's take a collective big breath. Just take a deep breath in and exhale, because sometimes that's just what you have to do. It's extremely intense right now. And there's also this feeling of sort of things not happening, maybe as fast as you want them to, maybe seeing things as a slow burn or a slow start. And you're going to get that. 2023 started with a Mercury retrograde. We've been in Mars retrograde since October. We have Uranus in retrograde, and all of them are moving direct in the next week. So thank you, universe. So let yourself sort of lean into this. Feel yourself. Take a pause. Take a moment of reflection. When you have so many retrogrades, what is really being asked for you to do is to review. So lean into that, because the first of the year, I know people have just started going back to work today or school today. And so people are like, where did the vacation go? And how am I leaning into this? But on the 12th, you're going to see Mars go direct, and you're really going to feel the ability to take action after that. So we've been kind of in a limbo since October, where maybe we know what we want to do, but we haven't been able to really set it in motion. And then you've got Mercury retrograde, which started at the 29th of December. It's going to go direct on the 18th. And I know we're all going to have a collective sigh of release when that happens. But most people, they pay attention to Mercury retrograde, but they don't realize that Uranus retrograde is so important. And that has been going on for quite some time. And so that switches out on the 22nd, and it comes in with a powerful new moon. So what I guess I want to reiterate here is, don't feel like you're wrong. There's been a lot of people in my coaching world that's making themselves out as wrong. I want you to feel all the feels. I even let myself kind of go there myself. I had what I call a bit of a spiritual depression. It happens sometimes. I went on a humongous trip, and then I come back home, and maybe the cats aren't getting along, or maybe I've got laundry to put away, and it's just like, oh, this is the real world. And the answer is both are the real world, and your feelings are the real world. And so what I really want to invite you to do is allow yourself to feel your emotions and name them, whatever they are. The first step, because I have a process that I work with in my coaching, and the very first step is finding the actual feeling. So if you're wanting to shift what it is you want to feel, you've got to actually be really, really honest with yourself about what you feel now. So allowing and even naming and putting into place exactly where you are is step one. And step two is then allowing yourself the freedom, the emotional freedom, to let yourself go of these hostages. You're being held hostage by people, maybe people that aren't even in your world anymore. You're being held emotionally hostage. So is there a spiritual divorce that needs to happen? Is there Is there a forgiveness piece that needs to happen? Is there a deep, radical acceptance piece on yourself that needs to happen? And I just, that there is no better thing than that right now, is really radically accepting where you are, to be able to move forward, to be able to make something happen differently. We take an inventory. That's why a lot of stores right now take inventory. They've got to know what they have. They got to know what's in their stockpile. They got to know what they sold. What was the best seller? What are they out of? What do they have to reorder? Well, we need to do that for our soul as well. And right now, this little couple of, weeks until the 22nd, 23rd of January, we're in that kind of taking inventory. And we're in that liminal in between. We're not there yet. And I've heard that a lot in my coaching in the last week, that I'm not where I wanted to be at the start of 2023. I'm where I thought I would be at the end of maybe 2021, but 2020 threw me off. And then 2021, like I had to regroup, and then I'm just now getting where I need to go. And that seems like a common theme. And people are just now getting out into the world. They're now traveling for the first time. They're seeing their families for the holidays, and that's got them all, stoked. So whatever it is that you find uncomfortable right now, I want you to love it. I want you to love yourself unconditionally. I want you to love yourself absolutely radically. And I don't mean this in a narcissistic way. I actually mean it in a way that opens your heart and allows you to be of more service to others, to be more in your standard of your own divinity, more in the standard of loving yourself. Maybe 2023 is the year you really fall in love with yourself. Or if you were in love with yourself at one point, you remember what you love about yourself, and really start creating the life that you deserve as a divine human being. It's a 7-year. And so I'm going to be constantly throwing the divine at you as a challenge. What is it that you need to do to recognize you as a divine sovereign being? What makes you realize that you're a goddess? What do you need, as even if you're a man, that you're an embodied God? Your indwelling spirit is coming into you here at this time like nobody's business. We are waking up as spiritual beings like never before, as a collective and individually. And the way that as we grow as a collective is each and every one of us just doing our own work, just really becoming a better person to ourselves, not accountable to another person, but really just being more loving, more kind, more gracious. We want to call in the divine law of grace this year and allow that to come into our body, allow that to come into our actions, allow it to come into our thoughts. And don't get me wrong, because like I said, I've had my own form of spiritual depression. I've had it for years. Every so often, I just feel like I'm not in alignment. That's my true discernment on what is a spiritual depression versus another kind of depression. So as I see it, you have biological depression. There are people who chemically depression happens to, bipolar disorder, just actual chemical depression. You can't even help it. It's chemical. Then there's another kind of depression, and a lot of us have it, and you get it, and it is caused by stress. It is caused by, they call it situational depression. And it can come on from grief. It can come off from loss. You can get it from losing a job, or just even not having an experience that you wanted to have. It can come from not having enough money. It can come from a death. That is situational depression. And then it becomes chemical, because depression is so ingrained in our physical body. But I call what some of us have as spiritual depression, which means we're functioning just fine in society. We're putting on a good face sometimes. And we're just not as high as we know we can be. This happens to very spiritual people because our low, we still are in gratitude. We are still functioning. We're still doing well. But there's something that isn't light. It isn't lighting us up right now. We're not feeling super magical. And when that happens to a powerful person, it's an opportunity to review. And that's where we're at as a collective, an opportunity to review and an opportunity to do something different. This is where we want to love ourselves more, forgive ourselves more, and sometimes make ourselves do the thing that's a little bit harder, and seek comfort. It is okay to seek rest. I know a lot of people are actually sick right now, so sending unconditional healing to everybody who is feeling a cold, a flu, pneumonia, bronchitis, viral infections. So that's a physical depression. That's where your body says you must rest. So I want you, if that is you right now, to rest. Allow your body to catch up. Allow your body to heal. And if you're in an emotional depression, the first and foremost opportunity is with gratitude. You can move yourself out of lack by recognizing what you do have. And then another tool for it is choice. You can, as soon as you recognize, I don't feel good, you can start rewiring your brain. You can do it with meditation. You can do it in nature. There's a lot of ways to create happiness in your body. Some aren't as healthy as others. Sleep is extremely healing. Exercise, extremely healing. Much better for you than doing something like eating. There's some foods that can bring serotonin up. We want chocolate sometimes, or popcorn, or pizza, potatoes, because those bring up the elevation of our mood. But you can do it with laughter, even laughter yoga, which is starting with laughter, even if it isn't funny, even if you're just fake laughing. You can start with a smile, which can be, you know what they say, make it till you break it, or fake it till you make it. And you can just literally put a fake smile on your brain. It takes very little effort, and it will actually start rewiring your brain and sending good endorphins. So a fake smile is better than a frown for your actual physical body. So put on a happy face. And I don't mean spiritual bypassing. I mean, you're literally feeling down. You physically change your physicality. Line up your spinal column. That will actually start letting the fluid move in your body. Relax your neck. Do some yoga. Do some stretching. Take a walk. Change a pattern. Create some discipline. And I know that seems a little bit rough, but if you're out of whack, creating a routine that you can be proud of could be very helpful for you. If you have allowed yourself an environment that makes you feel trapped, whether that's an unclean house or paperwork sitting there, or there's something that you could do and you've been maybe putting it off doing it. But you know you would feel better if you just took the time to clean it up or straighten it up or go through it. Do that. And this allows yourself to feel proud of yourself. Allow yourself to feel proud of what you're doing, what you're feeling, how you are. And within that, remember that you do not have to be sad. Sad is a choice. It is a feeling that sometimes comes over us and it doesn't feel like a choice. But you can acknowledge, I feel sad, or I feel depressed, or I feel lonely, or I feel angry, or I feel ashamed. All of these emotions are shiftable. And if you don't know how to do that, please, reach out to somebody. I have a theta healing class this weekend. It's my number one way to shift the brain waves is theta healing. Someone recently in fact, you're on here today. Someone that is in my world, I was telling some of my story to, and I know it looks great. I'm going to Egypt and I'm really living my dream life, but that really wasn't true 10 years ago. And I didn't like my life. I had aspects of my life that I liked. I had things that I really loved that I lost, things that I couldn't get back. It was out of my control to get them back. And I was not living my dream life. I was spiritually, mentally, and physically bankrupt. I was broke and I was broken. And so sometimes you have to just say, I don't like the way I feel. I don't like this. And diligently and daily get up and start changing the way your mindset works, the way you're wired in your brain. And there's so many great tools. Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, and of course my favorite mentor, Viana Steibel, has books and classes. And so if you're interested in theta healing, please reach out to me, because I'm not going to teach a lot of basic theta healing this year, because I'm going to focus on some of the higher end courses and the relationship courses. So I do plan on, in case you haven't taken them, the full relationship suite of theta healing. That's the soulmates class, your relationship with your significant other, your relationship with your inner circle, your rhythm to the perfect weight, which is your relationship with your body. So I'm going to be teaching these classes all this year, but they all start with basic theta healing. And in this case, it's this weekend. So I hope that's been helpful. If you're like, I can't do it alone, I have created a very specific coaching program that will help you release emotional hostages, that will help you get through spiritual depression and live your magical life. And I call it Living Magically. And that's one-on-one coaching with me. I haven't done it in years. I started in October. We've run 3 people through the program now, because I can only take a few at a time. It's very set up to get results now. And there's kind of no better time than right now to commit to that. So if you're interested in that, please let me know, and we'll have a little conversation and see if you're the right fit for the Living Magically coaching program. And if not, if you want to really deep dive into the theta healing classes, now this week is the perfect time to get started. In the meantime, something for you to do. Write down what you need to let go of and burn it. This is the perfect time for spiritual release and letting go. Just write it down and burn it. And if it's something that you're bringing in, I actually recommend you get clear on that and you really focus on the invoking stages of manifestation after the 22nd or 23rd of January. So much so that I've created a little challenge, a free challenge for you guys that I'm going to run. I think it's I'll have to look at the dates, but it's going to be the week of the 22nd. It'll be the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sorry, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that would be the 25th, 26th, 27th, something like that. I forgot exactly the details, but it is one of my favorite little challenges to jumpstart your intuition and do a little bit of manifestation at the perfect time of year, because I really do believe that that's going to feel like astrological and lunar new year is coming into play. That's going to feel like we've got all these planets going forward and we're going to have some momentum. So if you're feeling a little bit lost right now, renew, rest, recuperate. Anytime you're in retrogrades, it's the R's: regeneration, revitalization, review, rest. I can't say rest enough. And just really be loving to yourself. The love in the world starts with you. So let's just take a couple deep breaths together. And I want you to imagine calling all of your soul fragments back, bringing you back in you, reminding yourself that this is me and everybody else out of my pool. Like, just imagine sending everything else that isn't you out and just putting a beautiful ball of light around you and activating a physical healing, rest, rejuvenation, and physical healing, activating your DNA, activating your youth and vitality. Just imagine yourself being reset, realigned, and recalibrated, because a spiritual depression is just being out of alignment. And it's really a sign that it's time to activate, it's time to take action. And so let's set that action in motion, that it's safe, it's easy, and it's possible for you to take the action and the clarity that you need and deserve, and that it's already yours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. And so it is, and so it shall be. I hope this was helpful. As always, I love you. It would really help me if you hit the stars. The star button makes all the big difference on these videos now. They changed the algorithm yet again. So if you're watching this on Facebook, give it a star. That'll make my day. And if you're watching it on YouTube, please just hit like and subscribe, and know that we're going to continue with these Monday Night Lives as long as you're continuing to watch, because I am super loving and I'm super grateful to each of you, and I really appreciate it. But for me to keep doing it, I need you to interact. So if you'll do that for me, I'll keep coming and showing up for you. Remember, one last piece of advice for today is that if you feel out of alignment, check yourself, recognize the emotion, and remember that you have the opportunity and the choice to change it. Sometimes you can't change the circumstances around you, but you can change and control your emotions. That's the only thing we can control sometimes. And remember that you are a divine being, so you get to have that love inside of yourself. You get to open your heart. You get to have all that you ever wanted and desired inside of you, because you are worthy and you do deserve it. I love you. Remember to live magically, and I'll see you again next week.